Hey, I hope you are having an amazing day. Let me know how you are in the comments. Today, I am going to give you all my advice from my past experiences about applying to med school. If you are currently in the process of applying, or you're going to apply soon, or you're thinking of applying, I promise that this video is going to be really helpful to you. You can always come back to this video and use it as a checklist as you're going along your application process. I'm no expert, but this is what worked really well for me, and hopefully it can help some of you guys. So grab some snacks and get comfy. Before going into each stage of the application process in detail, I'm going to give an overview so that we know what we're talking about here. So there is a lot of steps to the UK medical school application process, and people can find that really overwhelming, which is completely understandable. But I'm hoping that with this video I can break it down for you and make it way less daunting and show you that it's not that bad. In terms of order, to get into medical school there are quite a lot of requirements. One of them is like having enough work experience and volunteering and potentially like extracurricular hobbies outside of school to show that you're like a well-rounded person. So I'd say that's the first step of the application. That's stuff that you need to build up. You need to build up a little portfolio of yourself before you even start the application process. The other thing you need to do is, if you haven't done your GCSEs yet, make sure you work hard and get good ones. And if you've already done them, then hopefully you did well. Congratulations. So yeah, GCSEs, volunteering, work experience, hobbies, they're all things that happen before the whole application stuff starts. The next thing that happens is a ucat exam. 30 out of the 33 UK medical schools require ucat, I believe. So you're most likely going to take this exam, and that happens in the summer before your application is due. So that's normally the next step. And then after ucat, you have to send in your ucas application. If you're applying in the UK, it's normally through ucas. So with that comes your personal statement, where you will include all the volunteering, the hobbies, the work experience that you've built up over time, and also you select your uni, stuff like that. That's your application that gets sent off. After that application, you may or may not be doing BMAT depending on the uni you applied to. After your application has been sent off, you will hopefully receive invitations to go to interviews. And those interviews happen like November, December, January, February, that sort of time, depending on when you get invited. So that's the next stage. And then after you've got past all of that, you will, fingers crossed, get some lovely offers, and all you have to worry about is the A-levels. I know that that sounds like a lot, like I'm looking back on it and I've just said a lot, but it's really not that bad if you take it step by step. Like I literally just listed it in chronological order in steps. If you take one step at a time, it's really not that daunting, I promise. So I'm going to talk through each step, what might help you get through each step and how I did it. And yeah, hopefully it will just be really helpful. Right, so the first step that I had said was getting your work experience, volunteering, and your hobbies together. You probably already have some hobbies, that is just an assumption, but if you do, that's great, like keep doing it. That's probably something you love and something that takes your mind off of school, and there's not much else to be said about that really. If you're doing them, keep doing them, that's great. For volunteering, when I did it, care homes were the place to go. Also like girl guiding, brownies and rainbows I used to volunteer at. That was always very helpful. Little community groups and things like that. But I'm assuming it's going to be a lot harder to get into places like that now. So potentially you could be looking at charity shops instead. I know that in my local area there's a few homeless shelters looking for volunteers as well. Think of something you might enjoy doing as well. Like I picked brownies because I absolutely love spending time with children, and that was a great way to do it and do volunteering. Try and find something that you will enjoy and something that you can learn from. And then for work experience, again, I'm assuming it's very difficult at this time, but the way I went about getting my work experience is I went onto my local hospital's website, or slightly further but still local hospitals' websites. And some of them were lovely and they just had a work experience section and you fill out the form and you get invited to do it. Some of them not so much, like I just found their contact email, emailed them telling them about me, saying that I wanted to get work experience, would that be possible? Sometimes they just say no, but sometimes some of them would send me on to another contact to then ask them for work experience, if that makes sense. Like, you need to be proactive about it. I don't know what the situation is like in hospitals and if they're taking on work experience students during COVID. I'm assuming most of them won't be, which is a shame, but the alternative is to get online work experience. So read up on courses that tell you what medicine is like, what being a doctor is like, and also like read books or watch documentaries, like real documentaries, to see what that environment is really like. So yeah, that's volunteering and work experience. And I have to stress that those things are not only just to put on your application and say that you did it. Those things actually help you see if this is something you want to do, because you get to learn about what the job is like, what the environment is like, what sorts of things you'll have to do, and that is what shows you if you could see yourself doing it in the future. And if you can, that's great, and you've got that ready for your application. And if you can't see yourself doing it in the future, that's also great, because you know that you can write it off now. So yeah, first step, research, gather information, gain experiences, and then you can proceed. So the next step of the application that I mentioned was the ucat, the University Clinical Aptitude Test, which most medical schools in the UK require you to take and also like to do pretty well in, or like it's easier if you do well in it. I have a whole video of ucat advice which I posted recently, and I will put it in the corner here, so go and watch that for ucat advice itself. But basically that's the next step of the application, because you can take it between July and October, the year that you're going to apply. So most people tend to take it before they've sent off their personal statement on ucas, which is why I've put it here in the order. I personally would recommend taking it before your application, because like I said, the whole process gets easier if you break it down step by step and take it one thing at a time. I had all my volunteering and work experience done and out of the way, slash just going on alongside everything else, and then I was able to just focus on my ucat in the summer before my application was due. So I revised, I got a good score in my ucat, and that was that hurdle crossed. After ucat, it is time to send off your ucas, and that is basically your application form to the unis that you're applying to. So on ucas you can apply to 4 medical schools and 1 other course. So I applied to biomedical sciences as my 5th course, because that gives you the opportunity to transfer into medical school after, if you don't get in first time. But I think the 5th course can literally be any course. Just do a bit of research, see what you want it to be. So yeah, on your ucas form you put in those 5 universities, you put in details about yourself, your GCSE results. Your unis will receive the ucat scores themselves, so you don't need to worry about that. And your personal statement goes in here. So the reason I was really happy to get my ucat out of the way in the summer was because in the lead up to that application deadline, which was 15th of October, and I think it always is, in that lead up I could solely focus on my personal statement. I briefly mentioned BMAT at the beginning. If you're doing BMAT, you might have to focus on both BMAT revision and your personal statement at the same time. You might choose to dedicate like 1 week to getting your personal statement perfect and then just doing BMAT revision, or you might have them going alongside each other, whatever works for you. But if you're only doing ucat, then this is your time to work on your personal statement between the end of your ucat exam and the application deadline. Personal statement tips, I feel like that could be a whole other video in itself. There is so much useful information online for a personal statement. See if you can get your friends, your family to proofread it. If you have someone who's written a personal statement before, their advice will be super helpful. But yeah, in general, with medicine, the key thing is to relate everything to the course. So whatever work experience you've done, whatever volunteering you've done, even whatever hobbies you have, if you can relate those to why you would make a good medical student and why you've gained experience that will make you a good doctor, or why you have qualities that will make you a good healthcare professional, that's what you need to put in. That's what they want to see. You can't just list what you've done without a reason or a gain from it. You need to say what you've done and then say why that makes you a good candidate. So remember that as you go through your personal statement, basically. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me on Instagram. Like I said, personal statement could be a whole video, so I'm not going to go fully into it right now. If you are doing BMAT, that will happen next, and if not, that's out of the way. That is your application done. You have applied to medical school. There's still more to the process because the next step is an interview. Fingers crossed you will get your interviews, hopefully all 4 of them. If not, however many interviews you get, like that's amazing, congratulations. The time of like November to February, obviously keep on top of your A-levels, but it is also a time to learn what the interview consists of, any tips, what kinds of things you need to know for your interview. I will be making a video on acing a medicine interview with whatever advice I can give, so keep a lookout for that. But yeah, that is your interview preparation time. The part after your interview can be really scary because you have to wait and see if you actually got offers or not, and if you got the offers you wanted or not. And it's hard, but instead of thinking about that, after finishing that last interview, your sole focus has to be on your A-levels. If you don't get your A-level grades, it doesn't matter if you got the offers. So put the offers to the back of your mind and start revising for A-levels. Whatever 3 or 4 subjects you're doing, like put all your time and attention on that. Obviously with breaks, with self-care days, you know how much I believe in a good self-care day. But yeah, after that final interview, you have got nothing else to worry about apart from your A-levels. And yes, A-levels are stressful and they are hard, but it is so lovely to not have anything else to think about after that last interview is done. And obviously after you finished your last exam, that is the best feeling ever because the whole thing is done and you just wait till results day. Don't think about results day in the wait, but yeah, I'm sure everyone does. It's really hard. That's the whole process. It is a bit of a monster. It's completely understandable that people find it really daunting and really stressful, but I promise it really doesn't have to be. If you literally break it down into those sections, the way I've spoken them in this video, it makes life so much easier. Keep your A-levels going alongside all of them and stay on top of your work, but in terms of the process, break it up. You'll get your GCSEs out of the way, then ucat, then your personal statement, maybe BMAT, then your interview, and then it's all on A-levels. Like, I promise if you think of it as one thing you have to do instead of the whole bunch of things that you have to do, it makes it seem so much more manageable and so much easier. Thinking that is literally what got me through the whole thing without actually ever getting overly stressed about it. I promise it's just about how you think of it, and if you think of it as manageable chunks, it will feel like manageable chunks, hopefully. I really hope that this video has been of some sort of use to you. Like I said, please feel free to come back to it and use it as a checklist as you're going through the application process. If you have any specific questions at all, please don't hesitate to message me. I would love to help out if I can. And also if you have any video requests, like please go ahead and let me know and I can make more detailed videos about things, maybe like personal statement or something like that. Just let me know and I will try and make one. And hit subscribe if you do want to see my future medical school / university advice videos and also positive lifestyle videos. As always, thank you so much for watching and I hope you enjoyed.